Hey guys, my name is Ryder. I wanted to address some questions that I got from my last video, which is awesome. I didn't expect questions from it. Um, as you can see, I'm using a sand substrate, and the reason I use a sand substrate is because I feel that it's more natural for a lot of the species that I have in the tank. A lot of them like to dig and plant it. I have things like Ancestris bristlenose. I have some rare species of catfish like Mad Tom, just things like that. And it is a challenge to grow plants in sand. And you really have to know what species to grow and which species to avoid. The species of plants that you're going to want that are going to flourish are rooted species of plants that I found, in my experience. And the species that are rooted would be things like your crypts, your swords, bulb plants like tiger lilies, apnagoton, things like that are a huge plus for sand. While there's entire species you want to avoid when you have a sand substrate, which would be species like your stem plants, any stem plants, actually anubias and ferns, anything with rhizomes. When you have sand and you introduce a plant that has rhizomes, mostly what I found is that it just collects a lot of nitrates, it collects a lot of fish waste, and it just doesn't have the growth rate from the nutrients that it can pull out of sand when you add nutrients. They can't seem to get enough to grow quick enough without accumulating things like algae or filament algae. They'll have slow growth rates. They'll collect things you don't want them to collect. They'll get stuck in places you don't want them to get stuck in. I would avoid them. Focus on swords, focus on crypts. You're going to have a beautiful tank. You're going to have a high growth rate. And the reason, or I guess I should say, the way that I've gotten it to have such a high growth rate is my light, which is a Coral Life 36-inch, adjustable, programmable, customizable. I use it to simulate sunset, sunrise. Everything goes in increments to make it more natural. Reduces the stress on the fish. It's more natural for the plants, and you get a cycle going. That's every day. It does a cycle of light, and you really notice a difference with your plants and your fish with it. I recommend Coral Life for any tank, not just reef tanks, not just saltwater tanks. And another thing is that I dose with API root tabs, space them about 8 inches apart, put it in high growth areas that you have pockets of plants, and I dose with a liquid fertilizer. Flourish is what I use. I dose with that liquid fertilizer 2 capfuls a week, and the plants really respond to it. They have a high growth rate, and they continue to actually spawn in the sand, and I get lots of shooters. I get lots of extra plants that I can take out and sell, or replant in another area, or just let it go. So you really get the whole experience when you're dosing that way in sand. Another thing I wanted to touch on is that you'll be able to see in my next video here that's coming up. I'm going to do a video when I feed them here soon because they are hungry. But the species of fish that you have in your tank is very important, and you can completely expand beyond what a local fish store will tell you. You don't need 17 cherry barbs in a tank for a school. They're getting you to buy more fish. I worked at a local fish store for 2 years, and I learned a lot, but one of the things I learned is that I really like to go against the norms of fish keeping. You'll see that a lot of my fish, I have schools of cory cats, but they're not 24 panda cory cats. I have a panda cory cat. I have an Adolfo, very rare cory cat. I have bandit cory cats. I have dwarf cory cats. I have pygmy cory cats. And you know what? They school. They actually school. The local fish store will tell you they won't, and they do. And a lot of other fish you can keep. I have a catfish in here that's a Mad Tom catfish. His name's Ralph. That is so large he could eat any fish that you're seeing in this video right now in one bite. And he would never harm a fly because I got him as a baby, which is how I recommend anyone gets their fish to introduce into a tank. Buy a baby. You can get him to eat what you want. You can get him to lower his temperament as he becomes an adult. because he's grown up in the tank that he's in. He's grown up with other fish. And for me personally, I hand feed all my catfish. Any catfish I get that I put in this tank, I hand feed. And the temperament difference is astronomical. I can go right up to the glass. He'll come to me along with other catfish, and they just wait to be hand fed. And he will actually go out into the middle of the tank. He'll open his mouth, and he'll let these tiny, tiny nano cats clean all over his body and inside of his mouth. It's hilarious, but you get the real experience of these fish almost like they're in the wild, and you get to watch it every day. It's wonderful. So go against the norms, try different things. You're going to fail, but you have to fail to succeed, and it's worth it to try different things. Just do your own research. Don't always listen to what the local fish store tells you, and don't buy 17 cherry bombs. To end the video, I would like to get questions from you guys. What do you want me to cover? Did you have any other questions about my tank? Anything that I've left out, feel free to add it into the comments. If you could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. That would give me the ability to upload more videos for you guys to watch, and I would love to do that. So like and subscribe. My name's Ryder, and I'll see you guys soon.